Hi Booktube, welcome to a tag video. You're going to learn a little bit about me and tag videos later on, but let's do the preliminaries first. I'm going to do the Honest Booktuber Tag. Now this tag was created by Harriet Rosie 13 and I was tagged by Will Chambers 8065. Thank you very much, Will. Right. I don't like to dilly-dally with tag videos. I like to get straight into things. So let's cue the intro. Okay, having said that, one thing I really should mention is the photographs. There's only two of them, and they were taken when we rode on the London Eye. That's the big Ferris wheel that you can see on the other side of the river from the Houses of Parliament in London. We took some family, they were visiting. I don't really know what this has to do with the Honest Booktuber Tag, except that the little pods are transparent, so I guess I'm trying to be, yeah. Question 1. Have you ever lied about reading a book? I thought this was a really good probing question to start with, and I probably spent more time on it than I needed to, but my memory is so bad that I needed to be sure that if I was going to say to you, I cannot remember ever having lied about reading a book, that it was true to the best of my knowledge. I tried to think of the kind of reason that would tempt me to lie. So I thought back to, school. Did I ever pretend that I'd read a book that was a school assignment? And I don't think, this is my deficient 1970s education, I don't think we often had whole books as assigned reading. Our assigned reading, if we had much, used to come from textbooks. And okay, there's probably a possibility that I failed to read an assignment that involved textbook reading, because textbooks are the one kind of book I really loathe reading, even if I happen to like the subject matter that they're covering. And of course, it goes without saying, I hope, that in the 1970s and 1980s there was no Booktube because there was no internet. So there wasn't the same source of peer pressure about reading. In fact, there was the opposite peer pressure. I remember a peer pressure not to be seen as reading or doing anything academic. And so I would say I'd be more likely to lie and pretend that I hadn't read a book when I had. And I know that I sat through a lot of conversations with friends where they'd be talking about what they saw on television or what bands they loved, what music they were into, what films they went to see. And I wouldn't lie about not really knowing about any of them, but I would just stay quiet so that no one found out that I really wasn't paying any attention to any of that stuff. Question 2. Have you ever avoided a book because of controversy around the content or the author? I can't think of anything. Well, I suppose, and this would have to be a work of nonfiction, a memoir or an autobiography written by someone whose opinions really strongly clashed with mine in a way that I'm not willing to hear it out. So Donald Trump's books, I'm sorry, they're never going to get FaceTime from me. In fact, really, it's going to be tough for any politician or any entrepreneur to convince me to read their book, because those are both professions where the author has to worry more about selling themselves than they do about making a carefully constructed argument. And the same goes for books that seem to be pushing conspiracy theories. This might be a good place, though, to talk about Harry Potter. I started reading the series because I had someone in my family who was just the right age when those books came out, and they loved them. And of course, I needed to know what all the excitement was about. So I borrowed from family and I borrowed from the library. I read the first 4 books. I'm going to guess that was about 2012. And they were okay. They didn't do for me whatever they did for the member of my family, but, they were okay. And I was in the middle of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, and I bogged down. I think it was really, that I've said that I have trouble reading a series, and I'd read the first 4 books back to back, so this could just be series fatigue for me. It was a library book, so I took it back to the library, thought, I'll take it out again, and, then you don't, and then months pass, and then years pass, etc., etc. J.K. Rowling hadn't at that point, of course, expressed her views about gender identity. That didn't happen until 2018. In 2013, her first adult book came out, A Casual Vacancy, and I borrowed that from the library. I thought, we'll try again. And I sampled the first few chapters, and I came to the same feeling that I'd had with Harry Potter, that it was okay, but there just wasn't something there to make me go, oh, I will keep going with this. And though Rowling and I now, we don't share the same views regarding gender identity, the reason I wouldn't read her books really has more to do with the fact that they just they don't seem to draw me. They don't seem to hold me. I would have to read one of her books as an exercise to say that I had completed them. And I can't yet find a good reason to do that. Whereas there are other authors that do impact me. And I suppose I should talk about Alice Munro. I love Alice Munro's writing. Now, what has been recently revealed about her daughter, it would be context that I would bear in mind as I read, but I don't see any point in boycotting her work, and that this is just a reflection on me. It's not going to really make me a better person, and that's because I don't look into the background and the business practices of every individual or every company that I buy things from. I mean, I buy stuff from Amazon, and we all know their business practices have done a great deal of harm. So it seems a bit hypocritical of me to then boycott Alice Munro as if that makes me some kind of angel, when the truth is, it's impossible in my mind to operate in Western capitalism and be blameless. So I'm already doing things I shouldn't. I try to reduce those things where I can, but I know perfection is out of the question. So in that context, I'm just not sure that reading or not reading Alice Munro, that it really signifies very much. Question 3, have you ever been sent a book for free and not disclosed it? This makes me laugh so much. Look at my subscriber numbers. What do they say? They say, nobody sends this person a free book. There's really no point. There's no gain to be had. Publishers look for other people with more subscribers, send them books. It's going to have a much bigger impact. Free books, wow. I don't imagine I'm ever going to have a different answer to that question either. Question 4. Have you ever bought a book with no intention of reading it? No. I've never had zero intention. However, I have purchased many, many books on the basis of wishful thinking, which is a weak and sickly form of intention. That's why I put myself through the Read What You Own challenge, to get properly intentional about all these books that seem to be doing nothing but getting older and gathering dust on my bookcases. Question 5. Have you ever got caught up in booktube drama? Well, I'm going to admit I have been tempted now and again. And you know what prevents me? Is watching the videos made by the creators who do wade in, because these discussions get cringy really fast. I give myself little lectures. You don't get to hear them, but I do. I say to myself, see how ridiculous you're going to make yourself look. Do not make a video. Go read a book. Question 6. Have you ever had a hate comment, and did you respond? No, I have had no hate comments. I think some other booktube creators that I've seen doing this tag have said it beautifully already. If you're cis, hetero, white, I don't know what you have to do to get hate comments. I think you have to do something pretty weird. What disappoints me is when I watch some of my favorite creators who, because of their identity, have to put up with, they don't seem to have any option but to receive a lot of hate comments. And it's so disappointing that in order for them to produce content, to produce the content we can all produce without harassment, they have to factor in for that harassment. Question 7. Have you ever made a video just because you knew it would get views? The kind of videos that get lots of views, they're not the kind of videos I really like to watch. I'm interested in what people have read or what they are reading. So book hauls, TBR lists, lists of books not finished or books you didn't enjoy. No, those don't appeal to me. I like book reviews mainly. After that, I like bookish topic videos, provided they aren't too long, because I like to try and get lots of content in. So if they're shorter, it's better. Vlog videos that are kind of slice of life or watch me read, I can watch them now and again, but they get very samey. I mean, if I made videos like that, they would be torturously boring, because my life is really repetitive. I mean, it's repetitive in a way that I like, but I can't imagine anybody else would want to watch it unless they need a cure for insomnia. I do occasionally make tag videos, and one thing you can be sure of, if you're watching a tag video from me, then what that means is that I just need a little bit more time to finish a book, reading a book, or writing a script about a book. Tag scripts, they take less time to write. I don't need to do research for them, so they rescue me, if you will. I can produce content on schedule, even though I'm not quite ready to offer a book review or a Middlemarch meditation or something that needs more research and editing. I've gone the long way around to answer that question, which is basically no, I do not make videos just because I know they will get more views. Question 8. If you could go back to the beginning of your channel, would you do anything differently? I sometimes am tempted to record again my 5-minute introductory video. That was the very first content I put up on the channel, and I spoke so slowly, so carefully, too slowly, I think, and my sound quality wasn't great. But then I think, well, everybody's first videos embarrass them in one way or another, so I never follow through with that thought. I don't think I would much change the content I make, how I make it. I do invest a lot of time in preparation and editing, and it's not necessary work. You know, really good channels do much less editing than me. And if I cared about return on investment, then yeah, I would probably be unhappy about the amount of views I get versus the amount of work I put in. But for me, and this is just a personal thing, the preparation of the content is really satisfying. I don't know why, but it's just as satisfying to me as the reading of the books themselves. So the amount that I do purely for my own sake, for my enjoyment. And at some point I would like to upgrade my camera and microphone, but that's just gotta wait for a better time. Question 9. Are there any channels you wish you could be more like? No, not really. The only thing I wish is that I could make more content, that I had the time for that. I would love to produce 3 videos per week. I did have an idea while I was writing the script, because I like watching shorts now and again, and I did have an idea for some shorts, just a daft idea about looking at some of the non-book items that clutter up my bookshelves. But see, I'm just concerned that yes, they'd be easy to make, and yes, I probably could fit them in, and they might attract new subscribers, but would those subscribers really be into my other content on the channel? And see, I don't know that I'd want to produce shorts as an ongoing part of Heather Reads. Anyway, that's still a thought. We shall see. Question 10. What is something you love about your channel? Oh, I love Middlemarch meditations. I think that was the best decision I ever made. I started it out because I had read The Mill on the Floss. That was the only thing by Eliot I'd ever read, and it blew me away. And I knew if I was going to read something else, and that was going to have to be Middlemarch. I mean, it has to be Middlemarch, doesn't it? I knew I would have to give it really high quality attention, because that's what her books deserve. And now I started this just thinking, well, it'll be great for me and if a few other people want to join me. And now I find about every episode is getting between 40 and 50 views every time, which is fantastic for me. And on top of that, though, I'm discovering just how deep and how expansive Middlemarch is. It's just the best reading decision I ever made. Also, I think it's a clear demonstration that if a book has well-known literary credentials, it is worth reading it slowly, this slowly. Question 11. Tag some people. I will do that. Since this tag is 5 years old, I'm going to pick from my list people that have not been on Booktube as long, hoping that they haven't done it yet. So if you're on this list and you've not done the tag and you like the idea, go for it. I'm calling out Meg at Books Off the Beaten Path, Ellen from Ellen Made Book Club, Cams Campbell Reads, Marion H. Reads, Angela's Bookcase, David at Polyglot Reading, Mega Whopping Cosmic Bookworm, because I am never going to get tired of saying your channel name online, because it's just a great channel name, The Grape Jelly Library, and Sarah Roadworthy. And that's everybody. Okay, so now you all know that I used this video to give myself a break, and that break was enough for me to finish Adam Zawoyski's 1812, Napoleon's Fatal March on Moscow. And if you watched part 2, well, I don't know if you're really wanting to catch part 3. I'm going to have to find a way to make part 3 interesting without simply piling on the morose. That's my challenge. Let's see how I go. Okay, everyone, really great for you to tune in to this tag video. Thanks very much. Hope your August reading is still going well in spite of the heat. Take care, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.